Privatization in education has become a controversial issue in recent years. While some argue that it can lead to better quality education and more choices for students, others believe it creates a two-class citizen system where only the wealthy can afford a quality education. In this essay, I will argue that privatization in education can create a two-class citizen system and present the pros and cons of privatizing education, issues, and government responsibilities. Privatizing education means that educational institutions are owned and operated by private companies rather than the government. This can lead to better quality education because private institutions have more freedom to innovate and offer a wider range of programs. Additionally, private institutions often have more resources to invest in facilities, technology, and qualified teachers. As a result, students may have access to a better quality education than they would have in a public school. On the other hand, privatization in education can create a two-class citizen system. Wealthy families can afford to send their children to expensive private schools, while low-income families cannot. This creates a divide between the rich and poor, where only the wealthy can afford a quality education. As a result, students from low-income families may not have access to the same opportunities as their wealthier peers. This can perpetuate inequality and limit social mobility. There are also other issues associated with privatizing education. Private institutions may not be held to the same standards as public schools, and there may be a lack of accountability. Additionally, private institutions may not be required to accept all students, which can lead to discrimination based on socioeconomic status, race, or religion. The government has a responsibility to ensure that all students have access to a quality education, regardless of their background or financial situation. However, if education is privatized, the government may not have the same level of control or influence over the education system. This can make it more difficult for the government to ensure that all students have access to a quality education. In conclusion, privatization in education can lead to better quality education, but it can also create a two-class citizen system and perpetuate inequality. There are pros and cons to privatizing education, and the government has a responsibility to ensure that all students have access to a quality education. As such, a balance must be struck between public and private institutions to ensure that every student has access to the same opportunities.